Welcome back to the show. Today we've got Grace. Welcome, Grace.
Good to be
Thank
here.
you for coming on this really shit. It's like, what, 4 o'clock?
And it's pitch
10 past
black.
4. It is darkness. I've been back from Dubai for nearly 2 weeks now, and this is fucking depressing. But anyway, today Grace is here because we're going to chat about how to stand out as an online coach. It's coming into January. Well, actually, we're filming this at the start of December, but the idea is that most of coaches now will start thinking about what's going to happen in January. Every single coach that decides they want to try online coaching or be an online coach, or people that have been online coaches and then kind of let it die towards the end of the year because they got a bit stuck, are now going to be back full force because they think that leads are going to be coming out of their ears. Everyone's going to want to get a PT for January because they want to make a change. So it's going to be more important than ever to stand out as an online coach, as a personal trainer, and to show why you're different in the market. So Grace is an ex-client and then a coach in the program I thought would be a good person to have on because she's carved out a pretty unique standpoint in the industry, and it's something that has really helped your business, I would assume.
Yeah, massively, yeah. Coming from the shift work experience and then going down that route, it just kind of massively, it's like a magnet. You're like a magnet, they just come to you because you know exactly where they've been, what they've been through, and how you can kind of, it's that method to kind of like fix their problems.
Yeah. So talk to us about, first of all, what was it like before you really kind of found your niche and method and kind of your angle for your coaching service? Like, how long were you a PT before you kind of figured that out?
I think I did like on the floor PT for like 12 months. I didn't do it for that long, to be fair. And then it was like the back end of that where I figured out the niche because I was just Gracie fit.
Yeah.
It's like, I think God knows how many other PTs and online coaches are something fit or coach someone.
Yeah. Like me.
Yeah. And then, like I said, so it was like maybe 9 months into it where I kind of went, right, okay, what experience have I got that I can now bring into this coaching and really dial into a niche? And then, so I changed my name to the Shift Workers Coach, put a couple of posts out, and it literally just grew from there, like unbelievably, to be fair.
When you say like it grew unbelievably, like what was the biggest differences for you running the business when it actually like clicked for you and you were like, right, I've fucking nailed it here?
I think it was like nailing what method I was using. Like, so I created the shift method. Obviously, if someone hears that, someone sees that, and you can then display how you can get those results, like with your socials and stuff like that. That was what kind of really like enabled it to grow to the point that it did.
What's the like the difference in the content process? What's the difference in the sales process? And what's even the difference in the coaching process when you feel like you've got all that nailed?
So the content process, I'd say a lot of what I put out is like value. Like I'd say about 80% of my content is pretty much that. It's like a struggle. This is a solution. Try it. And then I think that's how I've built the trust and authority with my audience because, you know, I'll recommend go and buy a sad lamp, supplement vitamin D. Like these are simple things that
But some of these things
for me and you, like we'd be like, well, yeah, duh, like, you know, but people don't know this simple stuff.
Yeah.
And if you're directly talking to that person that's got a problem, like people that work night shifts, they need to supplement vitamin
No, for
D.
sure. Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
They need to use an SAD lamp, but so they then use those things. They start to feel better. It's like, right, okay, trust. Like the building it. The more stuff you put out, the more stuff they try. It works. They go, right, well, if she can make me feel like this just from, you know, a few videos, what is the coaching going to be like? Like what, you know, what methods like are we going to use?
But that's the difference in the authority, isn't it? Because you go in, right, I know from working with so many people like you that you have this problem. You specifically because you work nights.
Yeah.
You work nights, you've got this problem, Are you even aware that you've got this problem? No, but now that you are, because I've taught you that, and you've gone, oh my God, that is why I feel like shit. And then you've gone, this is the solution. You have to get this lamp. This lamp is going to help you do this. And they go, oh my God, first of all, I didn't even know I had this problem. Second of all, I didn't even know these fucking lamps existed. Yeah. And then they go and buy the lamp, which is maybe, 20 quid or something like that off Amazon. So they make a 20 quid investment into your advice, not a, £1,000 or 1,500 quid into your coaching. They spend 20 quid on your advice. They get the lamp. They go, oh my God, that makes me feel so much better. And then they go, well, there's fucking no one else I'm going to listen to or pay money to as a coach other than you, because no one else knew I had this problem because they're a generic coach. Like, no one else was able to give me this solution as part of my problem. Yep. And therefore, that's why I can't lose weight. It's because I'm fucking knackered all the time and I don't have enough daylight and my sleep cycle's fucked and blah, blah, blah. That then puts you as like the only person that person would ever look to for advice. Yeah. And you think of a little piece of content like that like, you're a shift worker, therefore you've got this problem, it's causing you these issues, and this is the solution. That one thing blows open the whole coaching program for you.
So much, yeah. And I've got it's called the Shift Method that you can download. So if you go to my bio, you click the link, and that literally goes through step by step how you can start to feel better just from simple things. So a lot of the time what people do, they'll download that, they'll use all the things that are in it, like everything that I kind of tell you to do.
So what is in it? Like, give us some details of like
so obviously you've got the SAD lamp, you've got supplements, you've got like differing ways to like manipulate your night shifts, how to go into your night shifts, how to come out of your night shifts. Because a lot of the time what people tend to struggle with is it's like they're just sleeping all over the place, they're eating all over the place, like they've got no structure to anything that they're doing. And if you went to a generic coach, they wouldn't understand. So a lot of the time people come to me and they're like, I've signed up with a coach before and all it did was make me feel worse.
Because they were trying to implement it and couldn't do it. Yeah.
They were going, why are you not getting your steps in? Why have you not eaten this? Why is your protein like that? Rather than going, well, here's how we can overcome it. Because I've been there, so I know how to do that.
I think that angle for me is like really important. If you can position your coaching as like, okay, I know you've tried before, because let's be honest, 99% of the market will have tried to lose weight before they bother getting a coach. Because why would you? There's a very small percentage of people that go, oh, I've decided I want to do this thing. I'm going to go pay top dollar for someone straight away. Only extremely wealthy people do that. Everyone else that's like, got a bit more sense about them will go, let me figure out whether I can do this for fuck all first, and then I'm gonna and then I'll pay someone if I struggle. So what you do is you've positioned your coaching as like, you've got your shift method with all these things, and it's like, this in itself is the reason why you haven't been successful on your own. This problem. If you don't fix this thing, none of the other advice that any of these PTs are going to give you is going to work. You're not going to be able to get your steps in. You're not going to be able to eat the food. You're not going to be able to do the training. This is the reason why you can't fucking do it. And I've got the solution to that thing. And that's the door you've got to walk through to get results. Yep. I've got the key to the door. Do you want it or not? And people go, yeah, I want it.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I think that's so powerful. If you can come up with that thing, if you can show them the door and then present the key to them and then be like, but it's my key. You got to pay me for my key. Hey, listen, don't do anything for free that you can get paid for. Yeah. But like, you've got, I've got the key. You can rent the key off me. It's going to be this much money. That's marketing in a sense, like hands down.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of the time, the way I look at it is, I know that I can change their life. Like, I know I can. I've done it. I've done like every single client pretty much that has come to me. So when they do come to me, it's like, if they don't sign up, I just think, well, it's like a disservice that they're doing to themselves. It's one of them.
I think the funny thing is, like, if you were a really experienced coach, they would know what to do anyway. So like, a coach that's maybe been around for 10 plus years, like done all the qualifications, done X, done Y, they'd have known to give them a sad lamp. They'd have known to, how to like manipulate the sleep cycle. They'd have known how to do it. But it's what they call an unspoken mechanism, which basically like they'll know what to do, but they'll never say it.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to be so broad, they'll never come up with that combination of things and speak to that specific person, because you can almost know too much. Whereas because you've gone, right, this is the only thing that I need to speak about because this is the real problem for my audience. Soon as you get that right, it makes such a difference. And I'm assuming, like, do you get people that come onto the sales call that have like pretty much already convinced themselves that they're going to do it?
Like they're pretty much, I'd say about 90% sold when they get on the call.
Do you find that they kind of know what's going to happen on the call anyway?
Yeah,
As in, like,
so
you're telling them things and they go, "Oh yeah, I've seen it when you say that. I've seen." Yeah, they're the best leads for me. Like when they've watched our YouTube and they know the way they do anything, it's just like going,
yeah,
because they've already convinced themselves. It's more logistics. It's like, yeah, but is it daft money or am I going to be able to afford it? And you go, no, you'll be able to afford it. And they go, yeah, fuck it then.
Yeah, I think like most people, they'll have followed me for like 2 years, or it's very rare that you get a lead that it's like boom straight away.
Yeah,
like want to jump on a call, but with the shift method, it's that they download. Again, they get like a chain of emails. It's like fat loss tip for shift workers. Like, so it's a chain of like 6 emails that targets problem solution.
yeah.
Here's how my client, used that method, and here's how it worked. Here's her results. And then obviously at the end, it's like, here's how you join the program, book the call kind of thing.
And by the time they've gone through that, they've literally like every single issue that they think they've got, you've like boxed off and been like, I've got that. I know how to deal with that. I know how to deal with that. So I think what's happening in the industry nowadays is people don't think about things in that way. They're just like, oh yeah, go copy X person's content and, talk about 4 tips for fat loss. And if you don't do that thought process at the start where you've sat down and gone, right, who am I the very best person to help? How can I then create a system that helps those people? And then how do I shout about that system so much that people come onto a sales call already pre-sold on what I do because that's the only option? Yeah. A lot of coaches don't sit down and do that conceptual work. They'll just go, fuck it, what's the easiest way to get this started? And they'll go, oh, copy someone else's content and then send DMs. And you're like, well, that was fine when there was about 30 people trying to be an online coach, but now there's like 3,000 people within your fucking, in the UK, it's like there's definitely thousands and thousands of online coaches. They're all doing that.
Yeah.
So if you don't take that mental step and go, right, I'm going to think about this a little bit more, you're just going to get lost in a sea of people. And I guarantee there's any shift workers, like blue light people, coppers, that kind of stuff, in January that want to get a PT, who they gonna move for when they decide that they want a personal trainer? They're gonna go to you, because you're the only solution to them.
Yeah, and I think like even just going back to like that shift method itself, like I was saying to you before, like the things that are in it, it's so simple. It's so simple, but it's things that no other coach would be able to talk about, because they'd be like, well, why are you talking about an SAD lamp? Like,
or they wouldn't think to talk about it in that way.
But like you were saying, like if you've got the experience, you should know how to coach shift workers. But it's like the way that I coach and the way that my content puts out, it's like directly towards shift workers.
No, I think it's super relative, and it's something that's useful because like you've got an advantage, right, to be where you did a job before, so like you've got some life experience that you could then pull on to be a PT. And there's 2 camps I think you can look at this. One is people come from, like, I had a lad in my inbox this morning that was like, oh, I work in construction, or he actually got a construction company, and he's like, all these kids, they've all been PTs for longer, they've all done this for longer, like, why is anyone going to work with me over them, because they've got like thousands of followers? And I'm like, bro, none of them have done a fucking job before. Like, if you start working with like how many people like have like building firms, like
construction,
exactly, like all of that stuff, you could absolutely nail those guys because you know exactly what they go through on a day-to-day basis. Like, it doesn't matter if you had 2,000 followers and all of them are construction workers, which some of them probably are, bro, because you're networking that area. you could absolutely kill it with those kind of people. There's that group, but then there's also the group that, like, if you've been a trainer for a very long time, you need to think about how you can create a better training method and a better nutrition method, because that's where you should shine. If you've been a trainer for 10 years or so, like, you should shine by thinking about, right, well, how much do I know about training? How can I build the perfect training system for this kind of client?
Yeah.
And how do I build the perfect nutrition system for this kind of client? You've done a bit of both, but used your experience that, you know, you've not been a PT for 15 years like I have, but you've done probably, I mean, I did a load of random jobs, so I could probably pick from the fucking list of them.
Same.
But I could be a McDonald's workers coach. That's probably not a great niche, to be fair, is it? It's not going to get me paid. I was on £4.25 when I was on McDonald's.
£4.25.
Yeah. So maybe don't always do what you used to do.
Yeah.
So what would the 3 biggest tips be then if someone was struggling to really kind of define themselves and think about, like, how they make themselves stand out in the market?
First one, look at what you've done in your past. Like, any experience that you've got, whether that be like from a sport, whether that be from a job, whether that just be something that you struggled with. Secondly, again, once you've figured that bit out, figure out what the problems are, what the solutions are, and come up with that method. And third one, I think just the way I've always done it is I'm speaking to, like, me back then.
Yeah.
I'm speaking to that person that I was, that was, like, struggling, that, you know, struggled with, like, the mental health, the physical health. Like, there were so many things that came with shift work. So I literally, when I'm writing my content or when I'm doing anything like that, I'm directly talking to the person that I used to be.
I think the one bit of advice that I would give from observing your content is almost like own it a little bit as well.
Yeah.
Like, you've obviously, you know, built a very successful business, like done $250,000 a year. You have fun with it. And I think that's something that a lot of coaches don't do, like, because they're a coach, they're like, I have to be super, super serious and, like, everything has to be super scientific and I have to use words that I don't really understand. And you're just like, I'm not saying you have to go in and get a wig and that, but, like, you
Rocking
will
about gyms with blonde wigs
I know,
and dressing gowns on.
I know, but you don't have to maybe go that far.
No,
you
no.
will do, because that's part of your personality, but embracing it a little bit and maybe not taking it, because I think if you can have a laugh with your audience, I think that makes a massive difference to, like, how relatable you seem. And I don't think, like, people need to think they need to be on this pedestal as much.
Agreed.
Cool. Well, thank you very much. This is the first in a series of trainings and podcasts that we're going to put out about this. So make sure you, whatever channels it's on, subscribe to it, like it, go on the other one. If you listen to the podcast, make sure you check out YouTube. If you're on YouTube, make sure you check it out on the podcast. And the whole month we're going to be working through this process, exactly how to come up with this for yourself, some tutorials. We're going to have some other guests in, like copywriters and stuff who are experts on it. So by the end of this process, you should be super, super clear on getting this done for yourself.